Hello everyone and welcome. Recently I've been sharing a lot of book content here on my reselling YouTube channel, either showing y'all that I'm selling them or showing y'all that I'm buying them. And I figured it's about time that I show you all how I ship them. Mostly because I've been getting a lot of comments on my videos asking me how do I ship books, and my answer is always it depends on the books, and that's not really helpful. So now I could just link this video and we will all be good. So I'm going to show you all the ways that I ship books. Really, there's only like 3. So I guess let's go ahead and get started with how do I ship one book, one solitary book. This is a trade paperback book, Lane Moriarty trade paperback book. I actually sold this on eBay, okay? The first thing that happens whenever I list a book is that it goes in one of these little plastic poly mailers, and that is because I don't know if you know this, but when paper gets wet, it gets ruined. And books are made out of paper, so I don't want the book to get wet. So this goes automatically in plastic. Now I know that that might be a little overkill because I'm actually going to put this in plastic again, but as someone who has received books not protected like this and had to return them, I make sure that that doesn't happen to me. So, first things first is it goes in a plastic poly mailer, clear plastic poly mailer. So I get these clear plastic poly mailers that I use for my inventory system for both books and for clothing from Amazon, and that is linked in my Amazon store down below. I will also link it in a pinned comment. But I get these for discounted rate and or free, and you might be wondering, how in the world do I do that? Well, I have an Amazon Prime rewards card. So every month when I buy gas or I buy stuff from the bins or whatever, I will use my Amazon rewards card and it gets me points, and then I pay it off at the end of the month. And then the points that I accumulated during that month, I use the next month to buy supplies off of Amazon. So I get them for free using my points. And that is something that I found that works really well for me. I also buy the multi-pack, which I get 400, so that's a lot of poly mailers. So even if I wasn't getting them for free, like if you were buying them because you don't have an Amazon rewards card, it's still like 5 cents a bag, which isn't that expensive per bag. And again, because I'm normally getting them either for free with my points or at a discounted rate with using my points, I don't really count this very much as an expense. I do count it as an expense in my taxes. I do have like the exact numbers that I spend for that because, again, I have run more than just my own business. I have run businesses for my 9-to-5 for other things. So trust me, the expense is accounted for if I have an expense, but most of the time I don't have an expense even for something like poly mailers. The next step, and this is the part I think people maybe will be most interested in buy, is that I don't wrap my books in bubble wrap. I wrap them in cardboard. Where'd you get a giant sheet of cardboard from? Where do you randomly buy that? I don't. I regularly get boxes for free from friends and family. This box came from my mom. All of the boxes that are too big, because my parents have a tendency, well, my dad has a tendency to buy very big things off of eBay and Amazon. And so they come in these giant boxes. Well, the giant box, I'm not really going to use in my business because a lot of things I ship will fit in a 12 by 12 by 8 box. However, the bigger boxes, I still ask her to bring to me because I break them down. I will cut all the box flaps off, so all the flaps that, close the box. And then I will actually take the box apart and cut it into these cardboard strips that I use to wrap my books in. And so even the boxes that are too big for me to reuse still get used, and it's still free, and it is much more cost effective than me having to buy bubble wrap to wrap all my books in, because the bubble wrap is actually one of the only expenses I actually have that I haven't figured out a way to make it almost completely free yet. So, but I'll talk about that later. So I just center the book, and if you notice the ridges here, I don't know if you can see that, You can see the little ridges here on the box flap. That's what this is. You can see little ridges here in the cardboard. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, somewhere in the middle, fold in that ridge. And it makes a nice clean fold. So I don't have to score these box flaps. And now I'm going to take the book, and I'm going to put it next to here, and figure out where the next divot is, and then I'm going to fold that over. Look at that. It's like I'm making a box for the book and not having to use an actual box for the book. I will do the same thing with this side, and then again, fold it over. Look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. It's like I made a box out of a strip of cardboard. Now, you can notice here that it's open, okay? And also, it's just gonna unfold if I don't tape it. So the next step is to tape it. I have two tapes here. I have my eBay tape, and I have clear like regular clear tape that you wrap presents with. So what I'm gonna do is, in order to get this big, heavy flap to stay closed, is I'm gonna use my eBay tape for that. Rip off a strip. And around she goes. And guess what? That's going to stay closed now. That's all I had to do. All right, but you notice that the ends are open, and I don't want the book to fall out because then it might get damaged. So as an extra level of precaution is I take the clear tape, I rip a strip of that off, and I close the end. So that way I don't have to worry about, in transit, the book falling out. It doesn't really happen. It's just me being a little extra and wanting to make sure that it doesn't happen, because the way I put this in the bag, normally that's not going to be an issue. But sometimes it's just extra level that this is never going to reach the end of the cardboard. So there's this. And then now I'm going to put this in a poly mailer. So now I'm going to stick my little book burrito here in a poly mailer. So this one is not as wide as my book burrito, so it is actually going to go down like this, which is again why I tape up the ends, to make sure that it doesn't slip down too far. I'm just going to stick it in there. So now it also has a layer of bubble wrap here, which is an added bonus, not really necessary. So where did I get this Amazon poly mailer? Do I have an in at Amazon somehow where they give me free poly mailers? No, I have friends and family that know exactly what I do for a living. And so whenever they get packages from Amazon, they take the label off and they save it up and they give it to me when they see me. And it's really great. This one actually came from my mom. Because I'm sure she ordered a book or something, because it's hard not to go through a month and not order something off of Amazon. I don't know if that's just an us problem, but valid. So I got this for free, and I get these free pretty regularly from friends and family. And also when I order my own stuff off of Amazon. That is something I will state that I do, as whenever I buy stuff off of Amazon, sometimes it'll give you the option of save shipping cost supplies or whatever, and just have it ship in the manufacturer's packaging. I'm like, no, I want it in a box. I don't want people to see what it is. And so I always click the Amazon put it in something for me, because I'm going to use that. And I much rather Amazon pay that expense than me. You can feel however sort of way you feel about that, but I feel like Bezos is trying to fly to space. He can afford a poly mailer or a box of some size. So that's where I got this from. I got it from my mom. I get shipping supplies for free all the time from friends and family. So again, shipping costs almost non-existent for me, because I tell people what I do, and I think that that's something that everyone should do, or see if they also can get some free supplies from their friends and family. I'm going to fold this down, since this is a reusable one, or one that I've been reusing, or one that I'm reusing. Take some tape, make a strip, and then tape this down. And then since this has a little bit of residue where the sticker was, I will actually put the label right here, and this is how I ship a single book. How I do it every time. So I don't always use padded polymailers because I don't always have them, because, you know, it's whenever I get these for free. But a regular polymailer will work just as fine, like the regular thin plastic ones will work just as well. There's that. One book done. All right, cool. I just shipped one book, but somebody ordered 2 books. How do I ship 2 books? And they're not the same size. How do I ship 2 books? This is how I do that. So I have 2 books here. One is a trade paperback and one is a mass market. They're both floppy paper copies, and I sold these on Whatnot. So the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna put these in a plastic poly mailer, because again, I don't want these to get wet. I don't want to get these to ruin. I mean, especially since this one is like from the 70s. Both of these are vintage books. This one's from the 70s. I don't want these to get damaged. They've already made it. Like this one's made it 50 years. I would like for it to stay readable for 50 more years. And then I put the Whatnot packing slip in here as well, just because of the fact that I don't want it to get wet either, because I want them to know that what they ordered is in here. So that also will go in this plastic bag. And then this gets closed up. Yay! So now I have 2 books in a plastic bag. So what am I gonna do now? I'm gonna grab another box flap. And you're like, wait, but they're 2 different sizes. How's that gonna work? I still just make a burrito. So again, I go somewhere here in I find a ridge, somewhere in the middle, fold it up, put the books on, and then again, I'm gonna find the next ridge, fold it up. Cool, look, we have the starting of our burrito. Now, I don't want this to get too funky. So now what I'm gonna do is eyeball it. As someone who's been doing a lot of this, I know that it's about 1 inch away. So I'm gonna find this next ridge and close it up. And I'm gonna do the same with this side. So about 1 inch up, and I'm gonna close it up. And look, I just made a burrito without damaging the books. And I do the same thing I did with the first one, and I tape it up with a big piece of eBay tape, because that's what I have available. If I had regular packaging tape, I would use that, because this is Whatnot, and, you know, I'd much rather have plain tape than eBay tape, but the eBay tape is free. Cool, look, 2 books, another book burrito. We're all good. I'm gonna take my clear tape, close up the ends. Here we go. One there. And one there. Now I don't have another free bubble mailer, so I'm just going to use a regular poly mailer to ship this in. Ideally, the poly mailers, the shipping poly mailers that I ship my books in, are going to be so that way when this goes inside, it doesn't go in this way, it goes in this way. That is how I prefer it to go in. So the last one, because it was padded and it wasn't the right size, it had to go in this way, but again, I have ways to protect it. Also, it's a padded one, so I feel a little bit less bad about it. But this one is the perfect width to slide this in, so I don't have to worry at all about the books falling out of their little cardboard burrito. And I got this poly mailer for free from Melissa. So Melissa, if you're watching, thank you so much. This exact poly mailer. So again, low shipping costs, because everything I'm using to ship this book is free, or these books is free. So now I'm just gonna slap the label on this one, and that's how I ship 2 books. Also, the plastic poly mailer that you just saw me put the book in to actually ship it, that's not see-through like the ones I showed you earlier, those I did get for free from my fellow reselling friends. They have shipped them to me, either with like a bunch of stuff to go towards my Bronco fund because they're wonderful. All of those I have from free. Like Brett sent them to me, and then I have some white ones that Melissa gifted to me. So again, that's also, I don't pay that much for my shipping expenses because I get them for free. I also reuse a lot of shipping supplies as well. So there is that. Or also, The ones that Brett gifted me, the reason why he gifted them to me is because he found them at the bins. So not only are there Amazon overstock stores, but sometimes businesses will go out of business, or you'll have an Amazon FBA person that has just given up the ghost, and so they're just donating all of their supplies to Goodwill and they just don't want to deal with it, so they put it out at the bins. So again, another way to get it for really cheap, and you don't just have to buy it off of Amazon. So there are ways to make it so your shipping supplies almost cost you nothing. Amazing. All right, well, somebody bought a stack of books that are all the same size. How do you ship a stack of books that are all the same size? So now I have a stack of books that are all mass market size. They're all the same size, and it's a nice short little stack of books. I sold these all in Whatnot, so they don't have the plastic bag on them. So again, the first thing I'm going to do is put these in plastic to protect them from water. So again, I have my little clear poly mailers. Now, if they can fit, I will fit more than one in the same poly mailer. You guys saw that already. If they're not going to fit, because the book is too thick with all the C's, then it goes in a poly mailer by itself, like this one, which is The Witches of Eastwick, which, if you have not seen that movie, it is an amazing movie. It was also a book, but it stars Jack Nicholson and Cher, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Susan Sarandon, so an all-star cast, and it is just an absolutely delightful movie. I think it's from like either the late 80s or early 90s. I highly recommend you watching The Witches of Eastwick. So now we have our protected little fat stack of books, and this is one of the few instances where I'm actually going to use bubble wrap, and that is because all of these are going to go in an actual box, like a real box. I will state that the only thing that I consistently have to spend actual money on is bubble wrap. However, sometimes even I can get that for free as well. I will either, if I'm good, will save up my Amazon points and get it for free using just my Amazon points, and get a big fat stack of like 700 feet of bubble wrap, which is also linked in my Amazon storefront and also in a pinned comment down below, is the bubble wrap that I get, and that normally lasts me like 4 months, depending on like how many books I ship or if I'm shipping like other hard goods. But my mom also regularly saves bubble wrap for her and from her work to give to me, and she'll roll it up and use that. And I'll reuse bubble wrap for books. I don't necessarily reuse bubble wrap for like breakable things, but a book's not really gonna break. So I will reuse bubble wrap mostly for books. So again, I get that mostly for free, either through points or my mom. But if I'm in a pinch, the only time that I do actually spend money on bubble wrap, or a significant amount of money on bubble wrap, is if I run out and I have to ship a bunch of stuff, and Amazon, it's going to take, because that link that I'm sharing for that bubble wrap, it normally takes them anywhere from a week to 2 weeks to actually ship that bubble wrap out to me, even though it's an Amazon thing. I don't know why it's like that. But if I'm in a pinch and I need bubble wrap right now, then I will go to like Lowe's or Home Depot, and then I'm spending like $15 on a thing of bubble wrap that will last me like at least until that new bubble wrap gets here. That'll last me for a couple months. So I think $15 maybe twice a year isn't a whole lot as far as a shipping cost goes. So again, I know not everybody's going to want to run out and grab the Amazon Prime Rewards card. I'm not telling you to get a credit card. I'm just saying that the reason why I don't really talk about my shipping costs is because I don't really have much of one, because I have figured out ways to get most of my shipping supplies for free or at a very discounted rate, and to where it's such a negligible expense to me that I don't really think about it. So there we go. You can clearly see the pile of shoes that I need to list, but this is the bubble wrap that I normally get. This is 700 feet of bubble wrap. I haven't used any of it yet because it literally just came in on Friday. So 700 feet, I buy this off of Amazon. It lasts me for like a couple months. Next to it is the emergency bubble wrap I had to buy at Home Depot, but this was on clearance. So this is 4 feet, which is not normally the size I like to buy, but it's 4 feet by 1 feet strips. So it's still perfectly useful. But I'm going to actually use this and not that. I will save this for big breakables because it's so wide, but I prefer to use this for books because it's a foot wide and I can just tear off what I need. But this is great. Miss Moxie is sharking right now. Okay. So this bubble wrap is already perforated in 1-foot sections, so I tore off a 3x1, so it's a 1-foot wide piece of bubble wrap, and then I tore off 3-foot long squares of it, but they're all still attached. And then I'm gonna wrap up the books. I'm just showing you everything that I'm doing, because if I don't, someone's gonna complain that I didn't show them everything I was doing, and we don't want that here on the internet, people complaining. That's totally not something that happens literally every single day in every comment section that has ever existed on the internet, but you know what, whatever. We're trying to mitigate as much risk as possible. I'm gonna then take this tape it up. I'm only doing that because I have this handy. Normally I would just use my eBay tape. It's whatever tape is closest because that means you're moving less and taking less time doing it, which time is money. However, you know, me showing you how to do this in a video, this is of course taking me much longer because I'm also explaining it as I'm doing it. This normally takes me almost no time at all. So there we go. I now have 3 books in bubble wrap, and now I'm going to go grab the box. This is an 8x6x4 box. That is what I'm going to be shipping that nice equal size stack of books in. I also get this for free because I have an eBay store subscription, so every quarter eBay gives me a coupon. Now your coupon is based off of the size of store that you have. My size store, I get a $50 coupon every 3 months, and I normally buy boxes or poly mailers with that, or tape, depending on whichever one of those supplies I'm running low on. And so this box was free. I get a nice fat stack of these. Well, not this particular one. Whatever size I'm missing. I have a ton of 8x6x4 boxes because that's the last one I got for quarter 1. This quarter I'll probably be buying the 10x8x6 boxes because those ones I also use a lot for books. But again, free shipping supplies I'm getting because I have a subscription to something else. And so that is where I got this box. And I don't care. The books that I'm shipping out sold on Whatnot, I don't care if it says eBay on it. If I do care if it shows, so like I'm using eBay tape, it doesn't matter. As long as books get to them however way that they said that they're going to get to them, like if you have a brand new book and it comes to them trashed, yeah, they're going to be upset about that. But as long as they get what they paid for, people don't care what box it's in. They just don't care. If I care what box it's in, I will put like a thank you sticker on here or something. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these books, stick them in this box, and know that it's going to fit perfectly in there. How do I know this? I sell a lot of books and I've been doing this a long time. So I know that A2 format or mass market format books fit in an 8x6x4. Of course, the stack of mass markets can only be 4 inches high for that to work, but because it's only 3 books and a typical mass market book is only an inch wide, I can fit normally 4 books inside of this box. So yay. Now, because it's not completely full, I am now going to put packing paper on top. So here's the top view, here's the packing paper. Hooray, that's how packing paper works. I'm so glad we did this together. Cool, and now I'm gonna close this box up, put the tape on it, and put the label on it, and now that's how I ship a fat stack of mass market books. Well, I had amazing luck and somebody just bought a bunch of books that are not the same size, like a nice fat stack of books. How do I ship a fat stack of books that are not necessarily the same size or make or model? So here's a fat stack of books, and they're not all the same size, but all of these went to the same, are going to the same buyer. Again, these were from Whatnot, so I need to bag them up because I don't want them to get wet. So what I'm going to do is actually divide the books up so that way they're even. So this is where the hours and hours of playing Tetris really pays off later on in life. is that the box that I'm going to use to ship these in is not this level tall. It is not this tall. The box I'm going to use to ship these books in is this level tall. So that is how I'm going to ship these. So that means this trade paperback is going to go in its own special bag. So here we go, and its own special bag, maybe. So this trade paperback goes in its own special bag because it needs to be by itself. Again, because we put everything in plastic to protect the books. And then these, if they'll fit, will go together in a bag. And I think they will because, again, I've been doing this a lot. So these fit together in a bag. So they go together in a bag. Hooray! So look at that. 2 in 1 bag. It's like a little plastic burrito there. Cool. And then these ones will also go in their own bag as well. There we go. So now all the books are all bagged up. And so what we're going to do again, just like we did with the last fat stack of books, and because these are going in a box, this is going to get bubble wrap. Hey look, the box I'll be shipping all of those books in is another free Amazon box that I got from my mom. So here it is, all boxed up, that nice big stack of books. It's not going to move around in there. This does still have part of a label on it, so I will just slap the label over that to cover this up, and this will go to its new home. Sweet! So those are pretty much all of the ways that I ship books. About the only one I haven't shown you is what happens if I ship a collection of books. So, you know, so this year I sold a set of like 28 books that are all the same size. Normally what I do is I just get a big box, and as soon as I list them, I package them in a box and then leave them in my house until they sell. But it's pretty much the same way I ship a giant fat stack of books. It's just a larger box and more books. That's the only difference. But this is how I ship the books. If you don't like the way I did everything, come here. Congratulations, you're your own human person and you can make the autonomous decision to not do any of the things I just showed you. You have that choice. That is why the motto on this channel is you do you. I'm doing me. This is how I ship the books. I've gotten tons of comments, if you look at my eBay store, of people saying literally that I should teach Amazon how to ship books, as someone who has had to return a book because it was left out on a wet porch and got soaked. I agree, but again, you don't have to do this. This is how I do it. I have sold literally thousands of books at this point, so I think I'm going to keep doing it my way. However, if something changes and I find a better, cheaper way, which is unlikely, I will do that, and I will share it with y'all at some point, because that's what this channel is about. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. I hope this made book selling a little less scary for you if you've been thinking about it because you've been watching too much of my content, which I don't think you can do. And I will see you guys in the next video. Don't worry, Miss Moxie is here. She was supervising the whole time because she wants me to feed her, as per usual. And or just give her attention, which is what I'm doing now. So you can see she's happy and wants more attention. Okay, bye. Bye. Hero, hero. I wanna be a hero.